getting our daily push on.
Yeah, man, this thing's been sitting way too long, dude. Dirty.
We built like a little remote control tank that'll roll up under the vehicle and jack it up, and you just kind of.
I think that would bode well with many shop owners. How much time a day do you say that we spend pushing cars?
Too much.
Yeah. There's a shop in Orlando that I used to tune a lot with. Guaranteed they spend 45 minutes a day pushing out, pulling in cars.
Yeah. Probably do the same.
I don't know if it's that much because they had a lot more cars. Yeah, man. All right, so we're pulling the plug on something. All right, guys, so we are at a fork in the road. We have a decision to make, and this has been a while coming, but all of a sudden we got a major change in things today. So we have been talking with a company that can be making a wiring harness for this, and ideally we would like to change up the engine management. So we want to get rid of doing the old EEPROM programming, but the thing that we're pulling the plug on is going to be the trans and the old style engine management. We're tired of fighting this, and we haven't been going anywhere for a while. It's been quite honestly a small soap opera dealing with this whole trans situation. So we had the trans checked, it still doesn't totally shift right. And mechanically, we've kind of heard through a couple of other different transmission specialists that, hey, you're never gonna get that 700 R4 to shift with the right amount of pressure at wide open throttle without lifting. And that's gonna be leaving ET on the table. Not something at all what we're trying to do in order to set the best possible time with this car. All right, if you guys are familiar with this project, this was my father's car that back in the late 90s had set, it was the world's fastest naturally aspirated Corvette. This thing had gone 10.7 in 1996 on pump gas, full weight, AC. It was a pretty magical car for the time. We beat John Lingenfelter and we beat John Hennessy at the first two Vet Viper shootouts, and we got runner-up and a third, only to be beaten by a customer of ours. But this car has been sitting dormant for many, many years after my father passed away, and I was lightly doing stuff here and there trying to keep it up and not really doing a very good job about it. Then we finally got it back, really went through everything with a fine-tooth comb, made it faster than it has ever been. We have not made a full quarter-mile pass. We've always had problems with the trans, and really, we gotta fix the trans. So that is what we're here to check out right now. This right here is a 6L80E. We can send this out and have this thing built and have a totally different processor put in that transmission such that we could run engine management out of a processor that is new as 2015. So that means we could do flex fuel. That means that we could have all sorts of electronic programming, really keeping the old engine, but putting a newer transmission behind it that would completely alter the car. Now, what we're trying to do here is see if that fits under it. All right, so what we have to lay out on the line here, where the fork in the road is, if this does not fit, it's not really gonna go in. If there's mild modifications, maybe, but if it's like way out in left field, not gonna go in, gonna go a different direction. So we have to make the decision, are we going with Gen 3 LS1 stuff, or are we going with Gen 4 LS2 processor stuff? There's a lot of things that are vastly different. The controllers are much more advanced on Gen 4. You can do flex fuel, and we can do a number of other things. Now, one of the trick parts here is that the Gen 4 stuff has an electronic throttle body. Now, my father has a very special homemade one-off throttle body on this thing. I don't want to have to change that, so that's one of the negatives about this that I really didn't want to do if we go that direction. But each way has its pros and cons, and I think as long as we're getting faster, that's the way to go. All right, that does look like that's a mighty large bell housing there.
And that T56 over looks nice and small.
It sure does, comparatively. All right, so that is a T56, of which we're not putting a manual trans in this particular vehicle. And that is a much larger 6L80E. Why would we be going with a 6L80E and not a 4L80? 4L80 is strong, it is also heavy. That is a little bit heavier of a transmission, a little bit more than I would want to have. However, between the gear ratios available for a Dana 44, which is what that is, they're really not many, and that is a 373. So realistically, if we are staying naturally aspirated, staying with the power that we have, a 4L80, we would really want to go with like a 410 or something like that gear ratio. It's just not quite what we'd want to have.
Dog ain't gonna hunt.
It's not gonna hunt. Yeah, George, we need a shirt with dog. That dog will hunt, man.
Hopefully we'll be saying that here in a few minutes.
Yeah. So now
Should we
this
take
right
some
here,
work
this
out?
trans has a very aggressive first gear.
Just lighter, make a mess, be lighter. Oh my gosh.
You guys look good.
Well, that always makes me get the heavy end.
We gotta put out of the pole to see which is the heavy end of the trainer. It's the end I got. It's always the end I got's heavy.
I don't think, like, if we do this, I don't think we're going to be the first people to do it. I think somebody else has done this already.
Let's talk to them what it takes.
All right, so with this trans right here, that has a very aggressive first gear, and thus we would really be able to keep that rear end ratio. Either way, we're going to have to change the converter. So, the header might have to come off, huh?
I actually think we're gonna run out of height on the jack though.
Oh yeah, it's all the way up.
Oh, it might go up until the starter. Also with this 6L80, what I'm really excited about is that we might be able to have paddle shifts, and that would definitely make this thing a ton more fun. We got a tab there, and then we got the starter getting big there.
Oh.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to loosen. Hey, so what if we went up?
Just grab a ratchet strap and hold on.
We could put this up a little higher and then walk it in potentially.
Oh.
I don't know, so far we're not, we got more room than I thought up top there. Let's get a light on that.
Enough? A little bit?
I don't know, it was a little bit. So given the processor solutions and the wiring harness and the company of what we're dealing with, a 10-speed would be super cool, but it's not really a viable option. We need something that's going to be able to communicate with that E38 processor, and that goes all the way up through 2015 on a Camaro. But if we can get that to work with the paddle shifts, I think that would be the absolute perfect blending of new school and old school technology, at least as far as fuel injection is concerned. So as far as these guys are going to need to come out, right?
Yeah, probably.
You're talking like Jif again.
Old Jif, remember Jif?
Jif. If you guys been watching for a while, Jif was, well, George's elf character when we were doing the wheelies on the smart car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a wheelie bar.
Take some load off there. Got it.
Tons of room now.
If we can tilt it, Laz, a little bit, say, counterclockwise. And we might eventually have to just loosen the header here.
Front's got to start tipping down. Because the top bolt,
You're hitting on the back.
Over this way some.
All right, so guys, we have done something a little bit similar to this before. We have a 4th gen that we did a video on a long time ago. It had an LSA supercharged motor and a 6L90 transmission, which is kind of the slightly more beefed up version of the 6L80. Now you had some extensive mods in that.
Yeah, the so we had dropped the cradle on that car just to clear the supercharger under the actual glass, and the 6L90 that we had was a truck transmission, so it had a really deep pan on it too, and we were fighting ground clearance problems. And I think we actually took a 6L80 trans and cut the two and kind of meshed them together to make it work.
Yeah, I do remember that. That was a long time ago before our welding was so good. It's gotten a lot better.
It's a shallower pan, so
Yeah.
we'll be a little bit better off, but still, it's a huge trans. And then I think we can do a regular, like a 1360 or whatever, the 1410 big yoke on this, because it's a 32 spline.
Well, so it does turn out we do have to pull the headers in order to be able to get this thing in there. Now, this car has been pushed out a whole bunch, and it is filthy dirty, and quite honestly, I'm a little bit embarrassed. But watching the guys loosen up the headers here reminds me of the time when I was 18 years old, putting headers on my first hot rod in the driveway, no power tools. Man, it's so much easier to do the job when you have the right tools and you got some experience under your belt. I do remember it. Every time I'm underneath it, I see it. It is a really good looking system, the Deechworks system that we put on there, man.
It's been down a little while. We might want to check the filters.
Yeah, yeah.
So is this gonna fall out, Georgie?
Sweet. Minimal drama.
That's how we like it.
All right, let's get her back up in there. Your girlfriend doesn't watch the show, right?
No. Too much drama.
So we still have to find out what the appropriate flex plate to torque converter
Yeah, that's gonna be a good question.
adaptation is.
Working it, Georgie. Feeling the flow. Oh, it looks like we're pretty good on the tunnel, doesn't it? Pretty close.
Get that light.
And honestly, dude, if that's really where it's at, it's about the same height as the oil pan too.
Now the motor is tilted back right now.
Touching?
Right about there. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's...
And our dowels, oddly enough, might even be the same. Same
Yeah.
spot. Yeah. Big piece of
You
wood.
ever picked up this?
Why?
It's like oddly heavy.
It does seem a little bit more dense than a PT piece.
I think that's vintage pressure treat.
It says no cut. Why does it say no cut?
I like this piece of wood. It's my favorite piece of wood.
Does it remind you of yourself for some reason?
Big and heavy.
It's a special dense piece. Tasteful tweak, but
Very close.
it is close. But we actually look really good here. Let's the dowels went up a bit. George, let's go and give her a little jack up, maybe about a 5/8 of an inch or so. Yeah, if we can come this way. Oh, you're okay. Super close there, right there, and then we would have to go over, but we're hitting on the header right now, and we could of course relieve that. But I mean, dude, this looks like this is gonna fit. This is pretty awesome. This would be complete game changer. Car's been down for like 9 months at this point because of this very issue, and it's been so frustrating. So many of you guys have asked about it. Where's the Legend? When's it coming back? What are you guys doing with it? And this is something that is really pretty exciting if we can make this work.
Do you remember what we had to do for the shifter in the Camaro? It was like a Malibu shifter, and it had the
The tap up,
switch on the
yeah.
side of it.
We may or may not be able to get the tap up, tap down to work like that. We could use that one. I don't know, man. It looks pretty good though. What do you think?
Looks pretty good, dude. I think this dog's gonna hunt.
Oh, this dog will hunt. I hope so, bro.
To do something about the crankshaft to torque converter spacing.
Yeah.
Because ain't gonna work like this. Either a different converter or a different flex plate.
Yeah, we'll probably need something that's about a 3500, 3600 stall. This is exciting. This thing could actually be back in business and faster than ever.
Small block with 6L8 bar here. Make one and then mount that to it.
Seems adaptable. Get the ladder bar to attach back, because that's basically the only thing that's keeping that thing, or
Right,
from
steady.
rotating.
Yeah.
So you don't really have any.
Little aluminum brackets aren't very much. I guess it's far enough along we can start doing some research on it.
Yeah, dude, that's a game changer right there, though.
Now all we have to do is adapt.
And overcome. I got you on that, buddy, right here. Another incredibly important part of having this trans is the lockup feature. Basic way would have been, hey, go put a power glide in it, but that's not at all what we want to do with this. It's not nearly as fun, and you know, being able to have something that's later model tech, something that we can actually tune instead of having to mechanically mess around with things, is definitely much more appealing for us.
I mean, 6-speed.
Hell yeah.
Auto. Paddle shift.
Even if we had that one little itty bitty burble that we had in the trans, worst case, it's still going to be a ton better than bouncing off the rev limiter.
So you want to have this transmission freshened up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I remember you telling George about a trans brake setup for a 6L80.
Oh, dang.
Oh, yeah.
That would be sick. That would be sick. That's
This
right.
would be ideal. No, this isn't it. This is the adapter. So that
Deal.
would be the car to do it in.
Oh shoot, that would be sick. I really don't want to break
And
this
also
diff.
my truck.
Yeah, it would be awesome in your truck for sure. You definitely need that. If you could leave on boost, oh my gosh,
You
dude.
gotta get traction handled first.
Yeah, one thing at a time
It's coming. Action is on the way.
Trans brake in this, oh my gosh, dude.
This thing leaves hard and it hooks.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah. I think I've personally gone like 147s in this, and my dad went 141 60 foot.
That's good.
Oof, man. We've never had this thing in really good air. What did we go? I think we went like 670s or something like that. We went 670s, I think, in the 8th. And that was on par to be basically like, I don't know, 1050s, 1040s or something like that with it if we could had all our ducks lined up in a row. But so this thing made 520 wheels. It's a solid roller 420, naturally aspirated, you know, small block Chevy. It's old school small block Chevy. So not an LT1 or anything like that, not an LS. Definitely hard to make that kind of power. Fellas, I think we have our decision right here.
It looked like it fit.
It looks like it's gonna shift.
I think we're ready to pull the trigger. I'll call the wiring harness company back and let's make this happen. I mean, this is not at all something that I thought was even possible earlier than today. So I've been back and forth with this place, and we were talking about the Gen 3 wiring harness stuff. So that's, you know, it's not as savvy.
Everything works out. You're looking for a 4L60. We didn't have one. You had two
Two.
6L80s sitting here.
Yes. Fantastic. I'm all about using what we got right
Make it
here.
happen.
I think it was, really. So, dude, I'm excited. This is going to be a little bit, it's going to take a few weeks in order to get the wiring harness, but I cannot wait to get this thing back, and I'm glad that we finally have a direction, because everything has been totally up in the air, and it's just nice to have somewhat of a compass. So that is fantastic. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. God bless America. Open face helmet.
All day, every day. Roll out the back, turn hard in the front. We came to play. Just kidding. We came to get down, not sit down. We're gonna get this tranny in there. We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna put a big old torque converter in there. Gonna make it fit, and we're gonna make it ship.
I just let you go when you're on a roll like that,
Yeah.
you know?
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out the Fasterproms store where you can get hats, t-shirts, stickers, lanyards, and now even, do we got the big stickers?
Yes, we do.
Big old windshield stickers. You can be cool like us. Just gotta let you guys. Jeremy's gonna come at you with a good old song. You probably don't have ready yet, do you?
No, I do, actually.
Stop it.
I do. I
All
played
right.
it a little earlier. All right, so guys, you guys got to check this out. I know you probably heard Beastie Boys stuff, and they might be a little annoying. However, this is an instrumental. Really, totally dig it. Totally that chill vibe. You got to check it out. Sabrosa by Beastie Boys. God bless you guys. See you next episode. Hey guys, check out our Adapt and Overcome shirt. These are available for pre-order and should be shipping out within the next 2 weeks. We are so excited with the design, and I can't wait to be sporting this shirt.
Oh, wait. Drop it. This is not ready. Oh, wait.